Hey, good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday. We're halfway through the week, and it's been a great week so far. We got training on Friday. That's right. Turn your setbacks into setups. That's what our training's about. Join me at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, and check out all the replays on the Playbook. Either way, we'll pin up my email and my text number. My email is david@dmeltzer.com. My text number is 949-298-2905, and you can reach out on either one of those. And from there, we can go ahead and give you free books, free training, free guides, free exercises. Or if you want to pitch, we have a pitch competition on August 28th. Come join me. And as Ryan's going to join me right now, there he is.
Hey, Dave.
Ex-football star. What's going on?
What's going on? Good to be here. Glad to be here.
Great to have you. Just in case people don't know, Ryan Mason, he's the CEO of Lux Brands and BizBuzz. What I love about your businesses is they're completely diverse. For such a young entrepreneur, you have two great businesses, but I was kind of doing some due diligence and I'm like, I love the luxury shoelaces. Yeah, because that's, people don't understand the size of market today. And so they're, always trying to be a Kardashian, and they don't even understand that, hundreds of millions of people is nothing, and you're better off having ambassadors, 10 million people, and
Right.
and have them keep on buying an annuity like shoelaces and telling their friends, and it'll grow and grow and grow, and you can have an unbelievable business. How did you?
Yeah, the thing I can say is I've learned that there's a market for everything, right? So, I started this thing a couple of years back. I was a college student. I was actually playing football for the University of North Alabama, and at the time, my dream was to follow my father's footsteps. Played running back for the Green Bay Packers. I also had a cousin who played running back for the Redskins, and this was a big family thing for me. But along the way, 3 years in, basically, I realized that things were not lining up the way that I envisioned them to line up. Okay, so for me, I had to make a decision, and something that weighed really, really heavy on my heart was basically deciding to potentially leave football and use that energy and that excitement and commitment towards something that I possibly would be doing later on, right? So I ended up one day, after a lot of talks and a lot of obviously circumstances of me trying to get out of the bad mental space that I was in. Um, I used that and I was able to leverage that and start to build a business. So I got out of football. I let go of a full scholarship, and in most cases, when people who let go of a full scholarship, you feel like something happened that wasn't supposed to. But for me, it felt like a burden, and I was able to use that and take a leap of faith, and was able to end up landing my shoelaces on Good Morning America and NFL Network and Foot Locker and about 40 different celebrities and athletes.
And what makes the shoelaces so different?
Yeah, so they are actually made from Italian lamb skin in most cases. Occasionally we do other exotic leathers like, suede or python or snake or something like that. But what makes them different is basically the way that they're produced. They look good on both sides and they're flat. And basically you can style them the way that you want to style them.
Oh, that's awesome. And then how did you transition and supplement, a luxury shoelace business with BizBuzz, which is more on the automated, integrated marketing software side, and, with small and medium businesses? Was it something that you needed within your business and then created it, or how did you get to that?
Absolutely. It's something that I needed. One thing about me, when I first started the shoelace company, basically I was in college. I didn't have many resources. I was in the northern part of Alabama. I didn't have, resources that I can just reach out and grab to, obviously help with marketing. So I had to be creative. I had to really get down and dirty and figure out what works in marketing. And along the way, obviously, I experienced things and I was able to try and test and try and test. And one of the things I always joke about, when I got to college, I'd never wanted to go to a smaller school in a smaller town. I always wanted to go to the big school, right? Well, it happened to be the best thing that ever happened to me because in such a small area, everyone hears everything, right? So for me, I had a lot of local businesses reaching out to say, hey, Ryan, you've obviously at 24, years old, and 23 years old, you've obviously had some good things happen. Can you help us? And that's when I really, I said, why not, right? And I started to help, and I realized that just now looking back, my father, my closest uncle, my grandfather, and all five of his brothers all owned local businesses, and they all, every single day, they basically walk one leg at a time, and they help provide for their communities and their families. And honestly, I've received so much joy from doing this. So that's kind of how that started.
Which is why I wanted to have you on, because you and I share that same joy of elevating others to elevate ourselves. In fact, you created a book called The Digital Playbook. I got that top podcast called The Playbook, and talk about my digital playbook all the time with stage theory and strength of signal and a variety of other things that we do. Can you help share to help everyone? Because I think a digital playbook is something that's needed more than ever. We're still at the infancy. I call it the pre-chasm state. People cannot fathom how big this market is. They can't fathom how big the opportunity is. They still can't fathom how early we are and how specific you need to get. Can you help share some of the things that you teach in your book for that digital playbook?
Absolutely. And one of the things is you teach it as well. So it's why, how, and what. That's one of the biggest things. You have to figure out when you're trying to connect with the audience, right? You have to figure out, how do I connect, which is your why, your story. Everyone has a story. And we need to hear those stories, because that's going to give us a connection, and that's going to help us understand and figure out where you are. Okay. Now, the how, in my example is basically, sharing your expertise. Okay. So we like to make sure that obviously you're being very transparent. You're sharing behind the scenes, you're sharing your expertise, and you're giving value first, right? And you're giving your knowledge, and then the what, which is the offering, and how you can help that community who has basically expressed they are interested in what you have to offer. So that's one of the things we teach. But basically the digital playbook is going to be, we're going to break it down into 6 phases. So what I've done is I've taken the processes that I have used for my business and also 200 plus other businesses, and I'm going to put everything in one book. And we're going to break it down into 6 phases here. All right. And basically it's going to go plumbing, then it's going to be goals, content, and targeting, and then amplification and optimization.
Yeah, we're real close. I got that credibility, emotional attachment, quantifying reasons, impacts, and capabilities. Of course, capturing, modifying, amplifying, perpetuating, all aligned with what Ryan teaches. The other thing that you do extremely well is, implement what I call the spine theory. And for me, a lot of people, they try to have side hustles. They try to have multiple opportunities and businesses, but in no way are they even vertebrae connected, meaning a side hustle. They look at 2 things in 2 different realms, and they don't share any resources, time, emotion, etc. You yourself have created a spine. That's what I've always been able to do and develop, is keep everything, time, resources, and money and emotion aligned. And if it's not aligned, then create a referral source,
Right.
Instead of creating another business for yourself, and go ahead and be compensated for that referral source, and also compensate others for referring business back into your spine. What do you think? Last question. You're such a young, successful entrepreneur. What do you think that one superpower is that has helped distinguish you off the field, compared to, what is a hyper competitive space? People think playing running back is competitive. Try being an entrepreneur. Trust me. I thought, man, if I could just be a Hall of Fame running back like Marshall Faulk, who I was with last night, and then he's like, dude, you're the Hall of Famer. There's more entrepreneurs than running backs now.
So good question. Good question. I think for me, it's definitely perseverance.
Yeah.
Perseverance is a really big thing. And I think for me, there's been so many times where I have failed, and so many times that I didn't hit the mark, right? And that's okay to dwell on it for a second. But after that, we got to realize that, hey, life goes on, and we got to figure out a way to move past it. One of the biggest things that I have done to help me get past those moments that I may have failed less than, or I may have failed, is basically to to understand that you have to fail your way to the top, right? Successful people really fail their way to the top. They learn, they use experiences, and they take advantage of those, and they move on with a better understanding.
Absolutely. And you do have the common denominator, is a learned trade. A lot of it, could be on the field as well as off, but you have that desire to be what you must be. You learn your way to the top. You know that pain is just an indicator: mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, financial pain, just an indicator that you have a lesson to learn, and you're not afraid to learn those lessons, and, to do it on the field at first, and to reach the best that you could, even though, the opposites of our family is, in my family, I always tell people I could be summa cum laude at Harvard and be one of many. If I just played high school football, I was like your dad. I was the superstar of my entire family. No one had ever even started football in high school in my family. So I'm an overachiever when it came to on the field, even though my potential is so much less than you and your family. But meanwhile, you have what it takes. You get the philosophies at such a young age. You're giving it back to your community, elevating others. Make sure you check out the digital playbook. Make sure you check out the Lux shoelaces. Of course, BizBuzz. Where can everybody find you, Ryan?
Absolutely. So you can actually find me at @thegreat_Mason on Instagram, and also RyanDMason.com. RyanDMason.com.
You got to hear, you are the great Ryan Mason joining me live. Thank you so much, my friend. Talk to you soon.
Thank you, David. Take care.
Take care, Ryan. Great job. All right, let's take a few questions before we bring on Brad around 8:15. I saw he's here giving the applause. Let's get a few questions going. What do you do if someone is ignoring your official complaint? I don't know what an official complaint is. So for me, if you have an issue, I'm not a big complainer, but I use a 3-no rule, and then utilize the help that I can to understand people. And then I allow and focus my energy on something I can change. Remember, it takes as much energy to change one closed mind as it does 1,000 open ones. So I try to separate myself, fall away, or fire myself from those situations. But, complaining, not really my gig, right? I put focus on what I do want, on solutions, not resistance, voids, and shortages. So hopefully you can shift your energy and focus on, and now, hold on, she just said, official complaint to a company. All you got to do is constructively let them know what happened and give them a suggestion of how to improve it. The recourse is on you, right? So, I don't know how that all in your mind works, but I take a positive approach of helping people get better. What has been the most valuable takeaway you've gotten from studying human nature? Radical humility, practicing ending fear, always the things that are needed to ask for help, but understanding that I'm already connected to the greatest source of light, love, and lessons that there is. We're going to be talking about setbacks into setups on Friday. I know you can't see it, but my email is david@dmeltzer.com. Maybe Team David Meltzer can pin it up. Both my email, david@dmeltzer.com, as well as join my text 949-298-2905. Both of those are great places to reach me. I'm more than happy to give you my free book, free exercises, guides. Register for the pitch competition on August 28th. You could also join my trainings for free, get the replays, whatever you need. david@dmeltzer.com, 949-298-2905. Let's keep answering some questions here. A couple minutes before we'll bring Brad on. What's your most recent setback that has turned into a setup? The pandemic. The closing of my office by the governor, that has turned into such a great setup. Learning how we can work remote, how much money, time, resources I was wasting, which employees have what capabilities, completely exposed. When you're in an office, you're assuming things get done. When you're out of the office, you see what gets done. Big difference. And really appreciate my team and how we've grown, accelerated throughout what's a very challenging time for a lot of companies. What do you use to inspire you when you feel like giving up? When I feel like giving up, I need to get motivated, meaning get back up or get restarted. And then I transition that into inspiration. So I use Cancel, Clear, Connect. I use Stop, Drop, and Roll, both all in my books. And I'll be happy to give you those free. But I go ahead and stop, drop, and roll. Stop, identify why I feel that way. Go ahead, drop, breathe through my nose, out through my mouth, and roll in the right trajectory. If it's a negative thought that's pushing me down, I cancel it. Then I clear my mind, and then I connect to that which inspires me. Great ways, great questions. Thank you, Nick. All right, let's bring Brad on. He absolutely agrees with it as well. For some reason, there we go. It'll probably let me do it now. All right, we'll bring Brad Blazer on, at Brad Blazer. He's a performance coach, and so he's going to understand what we're talking about to get the most out of what we're doing. There he is. All right. Hey, Brad. Uh-oh. You got that internet connection. Sorry about that. Can't control the bandwidth, or sometimes you get two guys with too much energy and it creates interference to that great connectivity that we have. It's just too much for the internet to handle. That's happened before. I know you might not think so. Anyway, I saw a villain there. He told me to mention his name. Kate, good morning. Good morning. I see you there as well. We'll bring Brad. Let's answer another question while see his internet connection gets better. How to get through discomfort of positive change. So that's called the learning zone. So there's three different zones. There's the comfort zone, where everything's easy. Then there's the learning zone, which causes lessons and pain. And then there's an anxiety zone that actually restricts what we're doing, creates void shortages and obstacles, interference and corrosion to that learning, to that allowance, to that expansion and growth that you have. So you want to know those three concentric circles, which activities get paid for, activities you don't get paid for, fall within the context of a comfort zone. I can do with my eyes closed. A learning zone, I got a little bit of pain, lessons learned, changing of directions. And then, of course, the anxiety zone, I got to cancel, clear, connect my way out of there, stop, drop, and roll my way out of the anxiety zone, or else it'll compress it down. The goal is to make our learning zone, our comfort zone, the size of our current learning zone, our learning zone, the size of our current anxiety zone, and keep expanding those concentric circles outward so that we can be more productive, accessible, and gracious. We can more be efficient and statistically successful as well. All of those things fall within the context of learning. Learning comes from identifying pain, knowing that's an indicator of financial, mental, spiritual, all of the different pains that we have in order to learn the lessons to turn in the directions like a turn signal. We'll learn all about that stuff in the setups to setbacks to setups Friday training. Check out the replays on the Playbook. Get my free books, free exercises, 949-298-2905, or email me, david@dmeltzer.com. It's that easy. Let's keep the questions coming. Brian, Brad, I haven't been able to see you back on there. So please let me know if you're there. I'd love to bring you in. Do you believe in power manifestation? If yes, how has it helped you? I absolutely believe in attracting what I want. I believe it starts with the law of Goya. Get off your ass. There we go, Brad. And then you take, when you think about what you want using your inventory of values, it becomes a possibility. Become inspired, it's a probability. And then strategy, discipline, and awareness make it your reality. That's the process of manifestation. That's in connected to goodness. I am connecting to Brad right now, Jake. I see him. I'm waiting for him to come in. David@dmeltzer.com. Someone's asking what the email. David@dmeltzer.com should be pinned below. Trying to connect to Brad. We'll see. Here we go. It's connecting. Come on. Jason Palomara. Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. David@dmeltzer.com. Thank you, Colleen. It is having trouble connecting. I don't know why, Brad. What is your genetics, my DNA, my quantum memory, the inherited being that I am, the unconscious competency, a frequency that I carry, a vibration that I have that allows me not only to regulate my awareness, but also taking that law of Goya into the law of attraction, allowing things that exist already to come into. We cannot connect with Brad. It will not connect. I don't know if his connectivity is bad or what. We will keep moving on questions. Thank you for keeping the questions coming. There are a lot here. What is the one thing every 20-year-old should know about entrepreneurship today? You must have the ability to be what you must be. You must build a company Number one, to keep it in business. Your number one goal every day is to stay in business, to invest in yourself, to give what you have. You can't give what you don't have. So receiving is the number one thing, to stay in business, and radical humility to ask for help. So you must ask for help. Find the people that have what you want. So you must know what you want and ask them, do you know anyone that can help me with what? That's right, what you want. You got to know what. The how and the why will come, but you need to know what. So take inventory of your values in your business, personal, experiential, giving and receiving values, to know your what. And then you can take that possibility when you know your what, become inspired by asking for help and making it your reality with that strategies, disciplines, and awareness that are created through the lessons of living in the learning zone, as we previously had mentioned. Please save this live. I will save this live. Email me as well, david@dmeltzer.com. You can have all my past trainings. You can have all my future trainings Fridays at 11. Come join me, ask more questions, go live. I apologize, Brad, but Jake will reschedule us in there. And we're just bummed sometimes when the internet doesn't work. Luckily, we have plenty to do here. Do you know hashtag buy not? No, I don't. Should I? Is a better question. Here we go. What are you excited about right now in your business? I am excited about enjoying the consistent, everyday, persistent, without quit pursuit of my potential. I'm excited about witnessing the segmentation that I started on my brand 3.5 years ago, that I'm reaching a point where my senses and my memory can actually see acceleration and growth. I have, as you and everybody else, been living in the learning curve, and those lessons and pain have been existing for a variety of different things, from people, places, and things that I needed to learn. So there's been mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, and financial pain over the last 3.5 years in building my brand. And I'm most excited about being aware and seeing quantitatively the results of being consistent, persistent in the pursuit of my potential. And so I can use that as an example to help other people segment out the acceleration and growth that they want in their life. Whenever I ask people how I can network with people, the response I get is add value to them. Whoa. So there's two things to network, right? So one is find the right network. So do your due diligence, vet the process, find the right pool to go swimming in, then know your hook: credibility, emotional attachment, and articulation of quantification of reasons, impacts, and capabilities. Know that. And then what do? Then you got to ask. And there's only two series of questions to ask. One, how you can be of service or value, which is exactly what your friends, family, and associates are telling you there. But they're forgetting the most important one, which is, do you know anybody that can help me? Do you know anyone that can help me? So that's how you do. You got to find the pool of the right people, know your hook of credibility, emotional attachment, being able to articulate the quantifiable values of reasons, impacts, and capabilities. And then most importantly, know the two series of questions. One, how can you be of service or value to them, which your friends, family, and associates are talking about? And two, more importantly, do you know anybody that can help me? How to avoid overthinking? You need to cancel, clear, connect, as well as stop, drop, and roll. Go ahead and take that interference, corrosion, and find what you want, and you will get it. Seek what you want. What's the best lesson your kids have taught you? I don't know what I don't know. Best lesson they taught me, that they come through me, not for me, and I don't know what I don't know. Continually reminding me I don't know what I don't know. And you don't know what you don't know. And there's so many variables and variances out there. There's quantitatively so many different facts and features and statistics, that I'll never know everything. And there'll always be a majority of the things that I don't know. And so I have to implement rule number 6 to understand that my kids come through me, not for me. Meaning, don't take yourself so goddamn seriously. Rule number 6, don't take yourself so serious. You can show your kids what to do. You can't tell them what to do. They may not listen to you, but they watch you. And you're planting seeds under trees that you may never sit under. Rick Merza's here. Welcome, welcome. Thank you, Jakey Bake, for pointing that out. Kylie, Jeffrey, hi. How to get answers of the higher self when feeling indecisive. Take inventory of your values whenever you're feeling indecisive. You got to know your what. When you take inventory of your values, you will have clarity, balance, and focus on what you want. That will get rid of the indecisiveness. It'll give you a basis in which to make all decisions, to give your intuition a guide in order to take your possibilities to probability and your probability to perspective. What are some affirmations to affirm yourself daily? I am worthy. I am healthy. I am. I am. I am what? That's right. What according to your values of what you want to be. Don't be afraid of being a hypocrite and be something different today than you were yesterday. That's fine. I am worthy. I am healthy. I am. Whatever it is, that should be your mantra every day. Motivation versus inspiration. Motivation gets you up, gets you back up, gets you started, gets you restarted. It will take you, it's a soul sucker. Fear can motivate you, but it will transition you into inspiration, which is where you have the realization and awareness that you are connected to the greatest source of light, love, and lessons that inspires you, gives you energy, where motivation will drain you of energy. But you need motivation to get you up, get you back up, get you started, get you restarted in order to effectuate the transition to inspiration, that great source of light, love, and lessons. So if you can't get started, you got to use motivation. Inspiration will not get you started, but it will keep you going and get you there. You got that? All right, good. Working through this. Once again, I apologize to Brad Blazer, at Brad Blazer. He's a performance coach. We'll have him back on. His internet connection was not grooving and jibing with mine. We may have too much energy for the internet. So once again, thank you for your patience, Brad. I rarely say sorry. I always say thank you for your plan. Whatever. It's a much more positive way of doing it. Kate, I am as well. Big star. I see you there. Faith, Jeffrey, Ian, thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's take another question. We have hopefully a big time guest coming on here at 8:30. Gives me plenty of time to answer these questions. How did playing a sport shape your values? It really shaped my values because I learned that continuum of no matter what consciously I think, say, do, subconsciously what I believe, that I have to work in the realm of my potential. My potential, whatever it may be, is my potential. It allows me to vote for what I want. It allows me not to vote for what other people want. It allows me not to seek other people's approval, but seek my own approval so people approve me. All of these different things. It taught me teamwork. It taught me leadership. It taught me that to be an intelligent follower would make me into a great leader. To be an intelligent follower makes me into a great leader. There's a variety of things. It made me who I am and allowed me through that to enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of my potential and increase that learning zone and increase through the anxiety zones, all types of different lessons that I still am so grateful that I experienced in my life. And by the way, not a great athlete, right? An average Division III college football player, pole vaulter, baseball player, nothing great. Let's just be honest. But according to my genetics, my DNA, my potential, I did super duper well and really enjoyed it. And I encourage everyone to do that. Never got this question before, but I like it. What is your human design? I am a body that is here to learn lessons, and the lessons will keep on coming until I learn them. They will result in pain as an indicator if I don't learn them: mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, and financial pain, telling me and indicating to me that I have a better direction to go to make my situation better or to find a better situation for me. Combining the pragmatic world of the currency of money with the spiritual world of the currency of faith. And all of that is my human makeup, that I'm not a body. I am a body, right? And I am free, and I am as God created me. And I am consistently connected to the greatest source of light, love, and lessons. And everything comes through me for others with appreciation, gratitude, and my ability through my inventory of values to give value or gratitude to that and give it away. Everything comes through me. I don't give to receive. I receive so I can give, and I receive more so I can give more. I don't live in a world of not enough, a scarcity world of being a victim. Avil, I said your name. Avil.Thacker. Congratulations. There we go. I don't live in that world of not enough. I live in the world of just enough anymore, where I bought things I didn't need to impress people I didn't like. And that's a very selfish world where you give to receive and negotiate for everything, give judgments, conditions. But instead, I give through me to others in a world of more than enough of everything for everyone. That's an abundant world, and it takes faith to live in that world. How do you find the superpowers in others? Seek it. How do you find anything? Seek it. You will get what you seek. Right? If you're looking for someone to be a pain in your butt, they're going to be a pain in your butt. If you look for someone to be generous and patient and kind, they're going to be generous, patient, and kind. Find the superpowers. Seek the superpowers in everyone. Do not seek what you don't want. Don't look for the shortages, voids, obstacles, judgments, conditions, and attacks, because that's what you're going to get. Look for the superpowers. You will find them. Everybody has them. Everyone has their own unique superpower. Nobody's as bad as they say they are. No one's as good as they say you are. Everybody has snapshots of circumstances according to what people are seeking within them and what there's delivered to them. All right. Brent is here. And we go from some small companies sometimes to some very large companies. He is the former chairman and CEO of a small company called Allergan. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for joining me. This is a treat.
No, it's such a pleasure and an honor to get on Instagram with you. It's excited.
Yeah, very cool. Well, I get, all types of entrepreneurs, and a lot of people don't realize there's something called an intrapreneur, where I started my company with in 95. I think we sold West Publishing to Thompson for 3.4 billion in 95. Not
Right.
quite as big as Allergan, but in 95 it was a good payday.
Good.
But I learned my entrepreneurship within the context of a really big company, different business units, but it gave me much more stability to work within that context. And as I grew up and became a leader in bigger companies, there was varying challenges that exist. How do you reconcile your career, as an individual, and then, eventually being a chairman of, a huge company? There's always this conflict that goes on because you personally can only do so much, and your company is glacial in size and it moves in glacial speeds as well.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's a constant struggle. I was a teenage entrepreneur. I was one of those kids who, I grew up in the Northeast, shoveled driveways. I have a twin brother. My brother and I, formed a landscaping business. We had like 70 accounts. We sold that when we went to college. In college, I started all sorts of entrepreneurial. So never, a truly successful entrepreneur, but always had a little bug in me around it. And I got to say, Allergan, or I was CEO of Bausch before that, so I've been in big, what people would call big corporate companies the last several years as a CEO or chairman. I think that entrepreneurship is alive and well. I look to the culture of the company and the people we hire and the people we promote for a little bit of that entrepreneurial bug. I like to kind of get rid of all bureaucracy in companies. I think that's the death of culture in companies, and try to encourage and spark entrepreneurism. And the best way to do that is incentives, reward and promote the people who are entrepreneurial, and weed out the ones that like, big meetings and PowerPoint presentations and the whole nine yards. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the criteria I had when we ran the phone company with Samsung's first CE device was, and I was 30, was I couldn't believe people had meetings about meetings. When I saw that, I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Because I was, like you,
Yeah.
baseball cards, landscaping, there's certain things that young entrepreneurs do. It's just inherent in what you see and how you get money. But when I started seeing people have meetings about meetings, I was like, whoa, 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 something is seriously wrong here. What are some of the things that you can do within the context of a large organization to cure the inefficiencies, and also the CYA culture that killed me, where everyone's looking just to cover their ass instead of make money for the company and for others?
Yeah, and look, and that is the bulk of big company, kind of methodology, right? Meetings, pre-meetings to meetings to meetings that talk about meetings, endless. What I did, you got to lead by example, and you got to hold your people that report to you accountable for it. But I basically always ask the question, why do we have a meeting for this? Can't we just decide it? Why did you need me, decide it? I banned all meetings about meetings. I relentlessly talked about it. I traveled all over. You're kind of like, as a CEO, you're kind of like campaigning all the time. You're always on the stump speech out around the world, because we were in 107 countries, right? So you're all over the place. And I would just talk about it. I'd say, hey guys, we don't need to have meetings. We want you to decide. That's why we hired you. You're allowed to make mistakes. Just don't cover them up. Talk about your mistakes. I've learned the most lessons from my mistakes, and I've made plenty of mistakes, right? I still make mistakes. So, the best way to do it is be honest and straightforward, but let's not get this culture where meetings are the end all be all, or CYA or whatever you want to call it. We hired you because you're smart. We're going to promote you because you're smart, and accountability is exercising that smartness. And so go do it.
It's interesting because I've been blessed in the corporate world to be around rock stars. I've been blessed in the sports world to be rock stars, and I've been blessed to be around rock stars. And no matter, who has what and has attained what in their lives, there's a portion of suck in everybody's life. And sometimes it gets worse when people perceive that, number one, you have these dream jobs, but two, that there's no suck in your life. And meanwhile, there's just different suck. And the people who learn to find the light, the love, and the lessons in the suck, they end up doing better in life, and because they're happy. One of the greatest challenges I had in a leadership role where other people were admiring you or on the, the campaign stump a lot of times as a spokesperson, is that you actually have given away freedom and pride. It's so funny because you've elevated yourself so high and you almost feel like you're handcuffed, you're golden handcuffs. You have to balance what's most in you. You jeopardize or compromise a lot of your priorities because of the money, because of the structure, because of, what you're doing. How were you able to reconcile and balance, the pressures that I know exist from running large organizations and the perceptions of family, friends, associates, and people who don't know you that, your life's perfect because you're the chairman of this company?
Yeah, no, you're so right. I mean, I think, look, I think everything in life is about trade-offs. And, I love what I do. I have no complaints. I've enjoyed a wonderful professional life and have done very well. Never thought I'd be where I am. And so, I pinch myself every day. So in that context, I don't want to sound like I'm complaining, but you're right. There's suck in everything. And I think you give up a lot when you take on a job of that kind of responsibility in terms of work-life balance. You move your fulcrum. Some people want to set it here and have more freedom to go out and ski or do their hobbies or whatever. Some people set it here and they spend less time with their family. But, you're going to take on a job that's 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, which a global CEO job is, because your vacations in the U.S. aren't the vacations in Asia or Europe or what have you. So your business is always operating every moment of all the time, and there's always problems. And so you just trade off, right? You lose your freedom, you lose your ability to have a free calendar. I remember people saying, hey, can you come away with me for a weekend? And I'd say, let me check with my assistant. And she'd say to me, yeah, in 18 months from now, you have a free weekend. You just don't have that spontaneity. And I think people lose sight of the trade-offs that you have to make in any job, no matter what you're doing, as you decide to dedicate yourself more to it. And there's no right or wrong, right? If you're happy being a manager and having a very balanced work-life situation, then so be it. But, the more you go, if you want to be, you want to be Patrick Mahomes, right? You're practicing 16, 18 hours a day. You've lost your freedom. Or you could just be, flag football quarterback. Right. So it's all choices. You have to have the skill, the dedication, but then you start to make life choices.
And, routine, consistency, persistency. I was talking earlier about the common denominator between people like us and young Ryan Mason there. He has it, that ability that you must be what you can be. And, here you're now in a matter of transitioning, and I've done it many times in my career. You did it from Boston Lom over, to Allergan. In that period of transition, this is a big problem with athletes. You're on, and there's activity you get paid for and activity you get paid for 24 hours a day. Like to me, even today, my sleep is an activity, right? It's a productive, accessible, and gracious activity that allows me to do certain things. When I'm in those periods of transition where I don't have every 15 or 5 minutes planned, what I have planned, but I don't have planned in my sleep, there's a huge challenge there. How have you been able to, keep those muscles and disciplines and ligaments and tendons of a consistent behavior while you're in transition?
Yeah, it's a great question. You were kind of talking about it before I told you I was on a little bit, but it's all about routine, right? And consistency and keeping your objectives the way they are. I've always been a person who likes to wake up early and go to the gym. And even though, I'm now looking for my next gig, that routine hasn't changed. I haven't changed the time. I still try to set my schedule the same way. I try to, stay plugged in and connected to my professional network and my friends and family. I have a little bit more time in the evenings than I used to, because I used to always have, I was on airplanes or traveling, but the quarantine and the stay-at-home orders and the pandemic have certainly exasperated the less things to do situation. But all good. It's all about staying in your routine and staying focused. And I don't change that. I don't care if it's a weekend, a holiday, between jobs or whatever. I try to stay very close to my routine.
Yeah, and I have a normal routine and an adaptable one, because as you know, we put out a lot of fires in our life, and until you realize I better have some non-negotiable, adaptable routine criteria, like an hour a day on my health, certain amount of time with each of my family members, and a 10-minute minimum for me to study my calendar so I know what the F I'm doing.
Right.
Those are three of the non-negotiables for me. But corporate culture is another thing that I think has been a blessing in my life as I've transitioned from big companies to entrepreneurship, to financing companies, to entertainment and media. But to me, what I learned working for West Publishing was a true sense of culture and values. And being able to take 7,000 sales reps and have them all believe in gratitude and forgiveness and accountability and understand the components of inspiration. And then here today, 30 years later, in a setting I'm teaching, hopefully in my life with 1,000 people like you, 1 billion people or more, to know that these are the keys to happiness. And you said it earlier, right? There's many different ingredients in people's happiness. You could be that middle manager that coaches flag football, spends more activities with their kids than you and I ever will. And it doesn't mean it's better or worse. It's just aligned with that. But there is, these cultural values. I'd love for you, because you've run such big companies, what are the key values of your culture that you like to create?
Yeah, no, and I think that's so important. And they should be values that are easily understood and easily adapted by all, because you have such a diverse, in companies like my last one, where you have 25,000 roughly, employees or colleagues, you can't pick things that can't mean something to everybody or resonate with everybody. And so, I tend to focus on some very basics, accountability that we talked about earlier. I really want people to be able to make decisions and not have that CYA bureaucratic, horrific mindset that I think destroys companies and destroys productivity. Humility is very important to me. I was explaining this to somebody yesterday. I had an appointment, and it was supposed to be at 5:30. And the guy texted me and said, "Hey, can we move it up to 5?" I said, "Sure." I showed up at 5, and then he showed up at 5:30. This was an hour prior. And I said, "I got to tell you, this is disrespectful." He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "You basically just told me that your time is more valuable than my time. And I would say our time is equal. And you told me an hour ago you wanted to move it up to 5. I changed my schedule, moved it to 5. And now you're showing up at 5:30, which was the original." He said, "Oh, man, I didn't think of it that way." I said, "Well, look, I was CEO of a lot of big companies, and I started every meeting on time. I ended them on time because I wanted people to realize that even though I was CEO and chairman, I respected them. I had the humility to understand that time is our most valuable asset, and I wasn't going to waste anybody's time." And so I think those type of simple things are so important in culture. And then last is just trust, right? It's about earning trust with your customers, with your colleagues. And that's not something you just get. You're right. You show it through actions, you earn it over time. But if you have those three things, you have the beginning or foundation, I think, of an amazing culture.
Yeah, no, and I agree, even furthermore in a large corporation, time, you have these meetings, even if they're on Zoom today and there's 20 or 30 people, and one person, especially a leader, is 2 or 3 minutes late. As a whole, you wasted 60 minutes
Right.
of productive time.
And by the way, that just resonates. Those 60 people then say, "Well, I'm the boss. When I'm the boss of the Zoom meeting, I'm going to show up 3-4 minutes. I got permission. My boss did it, so now I have implicit permission to be late, and it's toxic.
Yeah, and mathematically it kills you. And people, we really know math when you run a multi-billion-dollar business. You really get to know math, and it comes from Henry Ford, right? When he used to tell people, anybody that can come in here and tell me I can save a dime, right? Because those dimes turn into millions of cars. It's millions of dollars. We get to those micro increments of acceleration growth, and really can change the profitability of our entire company by looking at the 2 minutes we're late. And it goes down to that. Last thing real quick, I always like, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
I was going to ask you, I love the lessons, of people. So for you in this pandemic, the transition you're going through, is there a lesson that comes to mind that you'd like to share that you've learned, looking back or looking forward, that you could share with us to help us accelerate and grow?
Yeah, look, I think the pandemic, the inability to travel and socialize and conduct business the way we used to, really, I think put for me the lesson, the importance of relationships around the world, professional or personal, whichever way you want to think about it. But I think having a network of people that you call on, that you could activate, that you could turn on to get things done, was so important when we have these kind of restrictions that we're dealing with in the world today. And so maintaining your professional, your personal network, that doesn't mean 5,000 people, no one can maintain a network. That means you're 5, 10 really trusted people that how to move things along and get things done is so important to me.
Yeah, well, and I am so grateful that you have come on and shared your wisdom and experience with us. If you're looking for an extraordinary leader, he's available. Thanks. I'm gonna give you a call. I'll be like, I got a new partner. Brent is available. This is amazing. But thank you so much at Brent Saunders, extreme executive and coach for me. So thank you for being a mentor to so many throughout your career. You're changing. I think saving the world is how I look at the great entrepreneurs and executives in America, that we're making the changes to truly save the world. So thank you. I appreciate you
so much for having me. So kind of you.
Awesome. Talk to you soon. Thanks, Brent.
Bye.
Awesome. What a great live. You can see the importance as we get through these things, how different positions, different capabilities, skills, knowledge, and desire all align in values, and empowering people with accountability and forgiveness and humility. All the same things come up. We're going to talk about how to take every setback and turn it into a setup. Remember, everyone, David at dmeltzer.com, 949-298-2905. If you need anything, free training, free pitch competition, free books, free exercises and guides. Join our text community, 949-298-2905. Email me, David at dmeltzer.com. I answer everything myself, so thank you for your patience in advance. David, ciao. I see you there, my friend. Great to see you. Can't wait for Friday's training. Thank you, Colleen, as well. Me too. It's my just excitement. I got something to look for every day, and I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed to have all of you. So blessed to have Brent, Ryan, and Brad. I owe you one. We'll get you back on here. Remember, everyone, I'll be here tomorrow. Be kind to your future self and do good deeds.